Mo Sizlak and like Principal Skinner are like way up there. Like Disco Stew is a minor character.
Right.
That's funny when you see him.
Like Ralph Wiggum is a 1 seed, right?
No.
You
Oh,
don't
one seed, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like he's
I thought
not
you meant
gonna-
like a one-timer. Like no. Yeah. He's a mainstay.
And like, obviously this wouldn't be it, but like your top ones would be like Barney, Ralph, Milhouse, and Mo.
Nelson.
I don't think Nelson's up there with the. This is the sports talk like that would flip it on, because this is like, oh, Nelson's not seated high enough, or he's seated too low before he even like goes up against somebody.
This is why I think sports talk is mainly stupid, because it's just a bunch of guys and their opinions.
It is. Know? It's 100%.
Yeah, but it's also, if it's your thing, it's the most fun thing in the world. You know, so it's like
yeah, if you just make up shit, then it's like, hey, defend the shit you just made up.
Right. Exactly.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a ref with pigeon shit in his eyes and a drunk who will do something stupid, Martin and Brady.
You know, if everyone is as nice as you, country hospitality is going to get an awful name.
You know, most people would kill to be treated like a god just for a few moments.
This week, we're taking a closer look at the career of Gene Hackman, the man, the myth, the legend. Specifically, since March Madness is here, we're focusing on Hoosiers. Few sports movies capture the heart, grit, and underdog spirit quite like it. It's a film that isn't just about basketball. It's about redemption, discipline, and believing in something greater than yourself. Who doesn't love this movie?
I think you might have found the guy.
I mean, it's a question that I think is resounding no one. But
I don't love it.
No,
I don't.
This
care
is only
for
my
it.
second time seeing it, and I was like, I don't know. It wasn't. I remember not loving it, so I was excited to rewatch it, but it had moments for sure. I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. But
Johnny came in, Jay.
Johnny doesn't hate anything.
I came in not liking it.
I know, but do you hate it?
I don't hate it. No,
Yeah,
I hate very few films. There's one or two Cusack films that I hate.
It's kind of like Indiana in general. It's just kind of meh. I don't like the state. I always have to drive through it to get to Michigan. Mid? I said meh, but yeah, it's very mid.
I think I have to equate it to the fact that I don't feel any nostalgia for this time period, because
That's fair.
it's 1952 and
Right.
I wasn't even a concept. Like, my parents were just born. But also I've seen this type of story played out more in so many other movies.
Yeah, better. It's done better since.
And
right?
it's just
Which all came after this.
right. I get it. This set the groundwork for it. I understand that. But
was it a good blueprint, or was it just a rickety, rough-shod plan?
I think it's just
this movie could.
I think it's just a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
It's a blueprint that people have been like, oh, a lot of people, this worked for them, and so let's build off of it. And they've done it in ways that connected with me more. For example,
Major
Mighty
League.
Ducks, Major League, Coach Carter, Hardball, Varsity Blues, like all of these things, like have all built off of the same underdog. Hey, ragtag, we don't know what
The
we're
Replacements.
Right.
One of my favorite.
doing. Again, Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Gene Hackman did it better on himself.
You know, so that's why I don't. This doesn't hit for me the same way that I think it hits for a lot of people. It's just like, it's fine.
Yeah,
Jimmy Chitwood was the equivalent of Jeremy Lin. He had one hot game, and then that was about it.
I
I
think
don't
more
think
than one
that's
hot game.
true. He came back and then they started winning.
Yeah, but that's the part that I didn't really like. It's like, okay, so you're saying it just takes one really good player, not anything else?
I'd say they were one player away.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
There's
just
that's
a
weird
lot
for,
of like.
It's weird for Chicago fans to have some issue with a great player being on a team.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Also,
we had a whole greatness in the '85 Bears, and actually all the Chicago.
Also,
boys
I'm
were
listening
good.
to these two of you big city urban folks. You know, you don't know about that rural lifestyle.
Yeah, but there might be some of that.
Can I ask you a question?
What? When I say no, I'm confused by the premise of that whole thing.
Were there no silos in 1952?
I saw one, at least one in the movie.
Yeah, and he said that none of the boys had seen a building over 2 stories tall. Like, isn't a silo over 2 stories?
Building? That's a stupid stance to take.
It's just a question.
That's a technicality.
No, that's not. That's a weird. Like that's you're picking beyond nits.
I tell you, but to your question or to your point, that was, I think, my favorite scene in the movie is when he takes out the measuring tape.
Yeah, that's
really cool.
Yeah,
and I totally forgot about that. Lindsay mentioned it too because we started watching it together, and she said a coach did that to her in high school. In high school, she does come from a smaller town, but I didn't remember it at all. So when it came to it, I was like, oh yeah, that was really good.
That's a very well known.
Yeah,
and yes, I probably should have
part of the movie. What I didn't notice or remember from previously, and I was both Hackman and the boys taking their shoes off when they went on the court. Like when he called him over, he took off his shoes
before
and
they stepped on the
Hackman
court.
had his shoes off. So which I remember in the gyms, like that dress shoe, they would leave marks.
Yeah.
When you found that out as a boy, you left a shitload of marks.
To be an asshole. Yeah.
But it just
don't track in all that salt and snow.
I
and
happened
shit.
to catch that, and I was like, oh, well, that's a thing though.
Nowadays, it's like when the floors are just.
But we used
super
to have shoes. I used to have basketball
You
shoes.
still have shoes?
Yeah, I used to have shoes. Not anymore though. I gave those
You're
up.
saying that you changed on. You didn't
Yeah.
wear your street. That's what I'm saying. You don't wear your street shoes.
But here's the thing about that. You're right. As the players, that's 100% true. However, when the game is starting, you have parents and everyone just trucking across like the corner. Like they're
I know.
doing all the things.
I try not to.
You're trying.
Yeah.
Sorry, not all parents, but you have. That floor is not like sacred ground for some. It is just a means to an end.
Yeah.
So the avoiding the salt and the dirt
Yeah.
and the sand is all for naught.
I hate when I see a player slip. I'm like, yeah. Can we get them some of that sticky pads or like wipe your shoes?
There's all sorts of new shit now.
Yeah,
It's,
just spit on the ground, clean your shoe off, something.
So I think this movie is. I consider it a great movie. It's
Okay.
been. It is more for the nostalgia than it is probably from a quality standpoint. But I do think it's. I have a problem with plenty of the fucking hillbillies in that town that are way too invested and way too powerful. Apparently, that they have the ability to vote someone out of town.
Yeah, we get a referendum on this.
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
It's Chelsea Ross.
I was
man.
just saying, when Chelsea Ross is really driving a fuck because
Is that the I know
Major
what
League
you're talking
pitcher,
about. Yes.
who was the apparently just a inadequate assistant coach who was only trusted to lead the team temporarily, and then
Yeah.
wisely was told to get the fuck out.
I misremembered that Dennis Hopper's ending storyline. I thought in his storyline he came back to the team after going to rehab, and he was drunk or had alcohol on him, and like they were
He
disappointed.
did it again.
He's
Yeah,
blurring.
not-
You're blurring stories from
Yeah.
other movies, I think.
Yeah, which I
He's
realized.
huffing on ether like in Blue Velvet because you guys all seen that one, right?
And then I realized that that's from the program. When, he
Is
looks
that,
at Latimer.
Tim McGraw's character? No.
No, the program is James Caan.
Oh, wait, movie.
He tells Latimer to get off the roids, and then he like looks at him in the last game, and you can tell that he's on.
Yeah.
He's on their steroids.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while. But what is the Tim McGraw drunken dad movie?
That's Friday Night
Friday
Lights.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Which might have been he could have come back the same way, right? Like
Yeah, I don't
But-
really remember that one.
Well, Hopper got nominated for
For this?
supporting actor.
No way.
For this, yeah.
He did not do that well. I like that as Hopper too.
He
Should have gotten it for Speed over this.
He did. I saw something where when he stumbled out on the court drunk at the end, he remembered being in a movie with James Dean and he needed to stumble, so he told the actor.
Rebel Without a Cause.
I don't know if that was the movie though.
But they were in it together.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe-
he was very young.
Yeah, but
that's
he told
how-
the director to give him like a 10-second heads up before he was supposed to come out, and then he had them like spin him around like 10 times, so he came out straight up dizzy as hell. So he could not physically walk straight. Little behind the curtain.
That'll win you an Academy Award, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he didn't win. He got nominated.
Oh, yeah, nominated. All right, I'll get you a nomination. That was probably more like an honorary because people just like Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, I don't know at that time if he actually. It's funny you said that.
What year was this?
86.
86.
Because he said he should have been. They nominated him for the wrong movie. It should have been Blue Velvet.
Was he? Was that the same year?
I think it was.
Yeah, I mean for sure.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet. He does amazing in that. We just talked about it with the Lynch episode, but
yeah, they said he was. He said that they got it. They actually got it wrong.
They got it wrong.
But we should talk about Hackman a little bit because he is. This is for sure the first movie I ever saw him in.
I think Superman for me
because I would have saw this at a young age.
Yeah, probably
Lex Luthor,
Superman as well.
But I liked. He's supremely likable, and I do like his character in this. He's a bright spot of the movie for sure. I don't hate this movie. I'm just here to shit on it because I like that you.
You know who I fucking hate? I'll say it. Barbara
Hershey
Hershey sucked.
down with Hershey.
Why the fuck was she the worst?
Always. She's the Black Widow in The Natural too.
Is she?
Yeah, she's the one that shoots Robert Redford in the gut.
Oh my god!
right.
I definitely miss. I guess Glenn
She's
Close is
just
one
a
of the,
delight in beaches, though. Which
I'll
you guys have both
I'll
seen,
never
right?
know.
Don't ever watch it with your wives cry themselves into a puddle.
Oh, okay. No,
It's a good movie.
Look, I get it, right? Like that was supposed to be the tough, guardian, but she just was the worst.
Didn't need to be such a crab apple towards him.
I feel like every character was kind of like no one really had
Look, it's a hard life.
the proper like redemption arc or change in character. Like I don't know. I don't really get why she fully changed the way she was or why she was the way she was in the first place. And all of them are kind
The
of
first
like
place
that.
I think they did a little. I think with her it was my interpretation was she appreciated that like he took at like the way he wasn't only about winning. Like
Sure.
he was
Yeah.
even when he wanted to for a second, he would recognize it and pull himself back and get to the point where like, he was going to stand by his principles and he was going to take the kid that was bleeding out.
Yeah.
He's like he wanted him in, but then he was like, "That's not right." He took him out, and
she noticed
it was a recognition of he is trying to do right by everybody.
Right.
And I think that was
even though he punched the kid.
Whether that's justifiable of like why she should just like become like the worst to like just below that. There's no way you could call her anything other than that. The most playful she got was when she yelled the question, like, "It's a good question," but it was like, "Who are you? You're not the person that's been in this movie."
Yeah, I mean, I do understand, yes, why she changed, and I guess that means they did a good job of putting that in there. But I just feel like all of it was kind of like haphazardly put together, not like the best script, I guess is what I'm saying. Like nothing was written in the best way it could have been.
Right.
And to your point, Shalani, other movies did it better.
Well, I think what I feel like other movies have done, especially going along these lines, is they took elements of this. Like they didn't take everything. Like some movies have the abusive father, the drunk father, right? Like that's one element. But you don't need the abusive father, the kid that doesn't listen and gets kicked off the team or, punished on the team, the kid whose dad is like, "Listen, you're going to play, you're going to listen to the coach, you're going to do that." The underdog kid who sits on the bench and never gets in until he gets in at the very end, and then
that was painful to watch.
The underdog team all together.
He got in early too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
but like he becomes like the.
Why did they pass the ball to Ollie 3 times?
Yeah,
they had to.
Did they have to?
Yeah, the rule
he
passed
was
4
open.
passes.
Oh, right.
Passed 4 times.
That's a little excessive, right? 4, maybe 3.
You can't make it all the stops.
But
the 4 passes is and whether the rules have then since followed for that exact reason, we have it at Roman's level.
Yeah.
If you are up by 10 points, then you have to pass the ball 3 times.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I did 3 too because the kids would just not pass at all. It's like fucking pass.
Yeah. It's funny though when we did that because Mary would be like, "Oh man, they look so good out there," and I'm like, "Yeah,
That's what basketball's supposed to look like."
Right. It's crazy how much, and it also almost always leads, especially at a younger age, leads to wide open shots because there's just no way kids are following it all. So
kids are like, the ball's over here.
Yeah, but it's like, but I get it, right? Like I was a kid who played basketball and loved it. Like you want to score, you want to shoot, so it's tough.
I get it, but that's why you got to teach them.
At that
age,
you got to get them to buy in to the greater good, the idea that the five of you are better, all working towards the same goal. And like sometimes you're going to get the shots, and sometimes you're not, and you kind of got to ride the wave.
Yeah, but all that doesn't matter if you have Jimmy Chitwood. That's what I'm saying. Like it felt a little bit like that.
That dude could shoot. That dude could shoot. I saw the something where the scene where he's out like shooting in the dirt and Hackman's out there. He doesn't miss. That was all one take.
It was all one take.
Yep.
You could tell. And then even the one of the shots he did at the end was a wide take. They're not cutting something else of somebody else making it. Like that was actually him. So
well,
I agree with that.
And even the final shot, when he said he'd make it.
Yeah, I did like that.
It was. It was essentially the same play, right? He called the picket fence again with the same kid to take the shot.
Does that work? Picket fence?
I've run it.
Yeah,
I was going to say probably at a younger level it does.
Yeah.
I don't think when you get older,
but
they're fast enough.
You can run it for a guy who can get a shot off quick enough. You just need a little bit of an opening.
More time,
most guys, there's a lot of switching and everything else going on now. Like you're not going to find it, but he made that on the first shot too. They were like, "Hey, if you miss this, we're still going to have the crowd storm the floor, and we're going to get this whole shot."
We'll fix it in post.
But he made it.
You made it,
and so he had hadn't made one in all of rehearsal, but Jimmy could shoot.
Yeah, I would have been frustrated being out there on his dirt court every time he shot and made it. The ball just died.
It just died. I know, right?
I was like, oh god, how frustrating is that to have to walk over and pick it up every time?
Get a bounce back,
right?
A little board up,
put a net
or plywood or something in there.
Oh, see you, rich suburbanites.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
Well, what's his name wasn't bouncing on that when in Blue Chips when he's out on the farm.
Yeah.
I mean, he at least had or somebody was out there with him.
I'm
right?
just talking about a piece of plywood, just something that'll make it roll back to you a little bit.
There's other
That's
little
just
kids
ingenuity.
in town that would have hung out with Jimmy. They would have Jimmy Chitwood. Yeah, I'll hang out with you, Jimmy.
They're like, Jimmy, what are you doing here? What do you think he's fucking doing here?
I don't know how people lived with him in the school. Like, dude, what the hell, man? Get the fuck out there.
I know. What are you doing?
Again,
he said quiet type.
Yeah, right. He didn't say more than 3 words the whole movie.
3 lines, I think that he has the entire movie. I'll make it.
And I'm playing if only if coach is playing.
Yeah.
That's it.
None of those parents, none of the dads pressured Barbara Hershey to try and get him to play.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And that's why she was so
they just
adamant
didn't
about
show it. Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah, Hackman didn't at all.
Yeah.
So class act.
Hackman.
Except when he grabs her, tells her he doesn't know what he did, and then he grabs her to kiss her. It's like, okay, buddy, settle down there a little bit.
I have to ask you, what was the crop that they were peeling back in the farm when?
I mean, it was a corn stalk.
Was it a corn stalk?
Yeah,
probably was corn.
Okay,
there's more than corn in Indiana.
That's what I'm asking.
Beach.
That's what I'm asking.
Long enough, I think it would have been corn stalk.
Okay,
what they were doing, I do not know, but.
They weren't detasseling it?
That's not how you detassel.
That's not detasseling. Yeah.
No.
I think they were, I don't know.
You're not going to believe this, but detasseling is just taking the tassel out.
Run it through a machine?
That's spun around by a horse?
Yeah, that was...
Spinning Jenny?
Dude,
is that a thing?
Oh, is that what they call it?
I don't know.
That's amazing. I want it to be called that
Sounds like a thing.
Yeah, I mean, different times. Not a time I'm angling for, but it the idea of the town, even the gyms being packed. This is just me because I run hot, but I was like, man, all these people are just in suits in this tiny gym. I'm like, I'm hot watching.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would not survive in the 50s.
Me neither.
You're just going to be in the right place.
Apparently, South Bend.
South Bend was
integrated as shit.
You've been comfortable. Hickory? No.
Well, and that's what other thing I was like, really, 1952? But I looked it up. Indiana started integration in 1949. So that South Bend school being integrated and having the team they did. It was like, okay.
Actually
Yeah, the
accurate.
team was modeled. I mean, it was based on a true story of Milan. I don't know why they didn't use the actual name. I'm sure there's some logic behind that. But
I got a great question for you guys.
Oh.
What is a Hoosier?
it is a person from Indiana.
But why?
Dude, that's not your question. How many questions you gonna ask?
That's that's what I was getting at.
Look, I don't. You think I'm a pro?
I don't know
Indiana?
why I can't look it up, and I feel like I have, but I feel like I never got a satisfactory answer.
Do you think I'm pro Hoosier? I'm not.
No, I get that. I get that you're
It's actively rooting against them today.
I feel like there has to be a better answer then.
No.
Like I understand what a Sooner is and why.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's because they were giving out land in Oklahoma, and there were people that got there faster than anyone else.
They
because
left
they were
before
like
they were
staking their
supposed to.
claim. Yeah.
Yep.
So they were the Sooners.
Okay, but that doesn't make it good.
But I'm saying like it's an easy explanation.
Okay, well, Hoosier's the official nickname for people from the state of Indiana. How's that not an explanation?
That is not satisfactory.
You're choosing not to accept it then.
But I mean,
I'm not liking it. I'm just saying, like, you're like, I wish there was a reason.
Hooge isn't a word.
Well, that's also
Hoosier.
not the word we're looking at.
If it was Indiana, then I would be like, okay.
So
that makes
your
perfect
problem
sense.
is that the word
Has no etymology. Yes,
but
I'm looking for the.
it does in that it actually means something. A Hoosier is something. You just don't like what it is.
Am I wrong? I'll stop if I'm wrong.
You are wrong, but
Johnny says I'm wrong. All right, fine.
the term gained widespread use after John Finley's 1833 poem, "The Hoosier's Nest." So maybe it's just
So it's a bird.
no. It doesn't say it was a bird. It just the poem came out, and there's no
Is he from Indiana?
there's unknown origin with various theories floating
Oh,
around.
all right. Unknown origin. Thank you. That's satisfactory too, but it still doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, we don't know where we got it. All right, fair enough. Cool,
Well,
I'm good with
at least
it.
I know I'm not crazy.
I don't know how this determined that, but
All right, we can move on.
let's talk about Hackman because
Yeah, more
obviously
Hackman.
everyone at this point is aware of his death recently, and that kind of spawned us to want to dive into. I'll be honest, I'd love to dive into a lot of his movies because he's been in some absolute bangers over the years.
Well, we've done a couple.
We have.
So we've done The Replacements. We've done The Firm.
The Tenenbaums.
We've done Royal Tenenbaums. So those are all
That
great.
I think it might be it. I'm surprised we haven't done Heist, which I watched not that long ago.
Yeah, Heist is okay.
It's
And
just
got-
because it's okay, and that's why.
Did we didn't. I brought it up, but I don't know if we watched it. But Crimson Tide,
We haven't done Christmas Tide yet, and we're overdue for that. That's
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State, I did watch recently again. It is really good.
Yeah, that's
We should. What was the other one I was?
There's
No Way Out.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
we should definitely do
Yeah,
that. There's
definitely
a
wanna do that. I love that movie.
Yeah, I'll wait till we do it. I've always wanted to see that movie.
Is he in Absolute Power
Yes,
as the president?
President Richmond.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I see Clint Eastwood's face.
Clint Eastwood is a.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't
Thief.
start with a the.
It does not start with a. It starts with an A.
But he's probably most known for French Connection.
Which I've only heard of. I don't know.
I've
never
seen it.
I've
It's
seen it. Popeye Doyle.
Yeah, you got it, Popeye Doyle. It's pretty good, but I feel like Brady, you'd be like, it's an old movie.
Yeah,
but it also a little
75?
I think earlier than
Well,
that.
you said
but,
70
71.
71.
But 97% Rotten Tomatoes. It's William Friedkin director. It's kind of like it's a bit of a prototype as well for a lot of movies that came after it.
7.7.
You know, famous for like a chase scene, that kind of stuff.
The
But I think
Conversation is also 7.7.
the Conversation is what's his name? I've seen that as well, but it's Francis Ford Coppola. Like
Young
after The
Frankenstein
Frankenstein.
is it 8?
Godfather. Young Frankenstein is great. It's a great movie.
A Bridge Too Far. I feel like I've heard of that.
Do you know what his last movie was?
I do because I just saw it.
No.
Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ray
With
Romano?
Ray Romano.
Ray
I
Romano.
heard that one's terrible, but I think he got an Academy Award nomination for Unforgiven, or did he win?
I don't know if he ever won.
That was a good one.
Unforgiven?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen it once. I should.
We
probably
should
watch it.
definitely. We should do that again with like Tombstone or something. Just go straight.
Yeah, he was also in Wyatt
Double
Earp
Western.
too, which was just the same story as Tombstone. It came out, I think, like the same
It
year,
did,
but
yeah.
people love
That's
Tombstone
Costner?
a lot more. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp was-
Tombstone. I like Costner, but Tombstone
Kilmer.
was better.
Yeah.
Kilmer makes it. I'll be your Huckleberry. But I think he did win for Unforgiven.
Oh, okay. The Birdcage, Get Shorty.
Birdcage is great too. I want to
think
rewatch that. I went to the theater for that, and I haven't seen it since. And it's Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, Nathan Lane.
I think I forgot
Lane.
he's in The Mexican. And I might be the only person who owns a copy of The Mexican.
I've seen The Mexican, probably with you.
Yeah, that's possible.
But I was very disappointed in that. I
Yeah,
expected so
I think
much more because I
everyone
love
was.
Julia, I love Brad Pitt, and it's a good director. I feel like or something.
Gandolfini's in it.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that was. Just,
I bought it, I think, on spec.
Yeah, it's 2001.
Gore
It was-
Verbinski is the director.
Oh.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Oh. J.K.
I mean, I know
Simmons?
that. Is in
Yeah.
as well.
You're
Yeah.
not a Gore Verbinski guy?
I am, but
That doesn't sound
it
like
wasn't.
it.
It wasn't like a great director, you know. I don't know. He did like Pirates of the Caribbean and
Yeah.
yeah, he's good. He's
Heartbreakers.
good. But I mean, it wouldn't be like, oh my god, he
Have
made
you
a-
seen Heartbreakers?
I don't know if I have.
Sigourney Weaver, Jennifer
Jennifer
Love
Love
Hewitt,
Hewitt.
Ray
That one's
Liotta.
not- it's not bad. It's actually pretty
that's-
funny. Ray Liotta's actually really good.
I don't
in
mind
that.
saying
If
I still love me some Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Nobody's complaining.
Yeah, no one. Who's going to argue with that? That one.
Behind Enemy Lines, I definitely saw that.
Yeah.
With
Owen Wilson?
Owen Wilson.
Yep.
Trying to be an action star.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if the movie was bad or if Owen Wilson being an action star was bad,
Yeah,
and it just like,
probably
took it
that.
all down.
Oh wow!
I liked
I'm
Runaway
behind Enemy
Jury.
Lines.
Runaway Jury's another. He did another.
Yeah,
Grisham
Runaway Jury's
movie.
great.
Yeah.
That was second to last.
That's with Cusack though. so
Tolerable Cusack.
Jelani's out.
That's also what's her face.
Vice.
Yes, Rachel.
And Dustin Hoffman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poseidon Adventure, 1972. Brady's never
I
seen
didn't
it.
scroll far. I didn't scroll that far back.
You seen it?
I think I have.
It's like one of the early. There was like a time for disaster movies,
No.
right?
You
It's
know
what
what?
Airplane made
Yeah.
fun of, like because there was like an airport disaster movie. Then
Airport
Poseidon Adventure
77.
was the one where a ship flips was in water, and then they had like Towering Inferno, which was in a building. So
which
they had all
was
these
basically
disaster
remade
movies.
into Skyscraper with
Right.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Basically.
Basically.
But
And
I think I
disaster
saw. You know what? I think I saw Poseidon.
Alexandria Daddario.
Yes. No. That's the earthquake. San Andreas. That's the one she's in.
Okay,
Gugino and her.
interesting.
I'm in. Say less.
I didn't need to say anything else.
But yeah, he's been in a lot of, and again, we talked about this the blueprint situation. I think Poseidon Adventure falls in that category. This one for sure, Hoosiers, and then what else did we say?
The French Connection.
French Connection.
Yeah.
Where they were, they influenced a lot of movies that came after them for their genre. So I mean, good on
He
you,
just
Hackman.
feels like if you look at it too, there's just a ton of variance on like the type of movies. Like
Yeah.
he's got action,
and then he did
heist,
and then he
he's
did
got
comedy with like
rom-com.
Tenenbaums like later in his
Dude, and
career.
I would
he was
argue
so funny in
that
that. I
might
love it.
be-
It's my favorite role maybe of his.
Yeah, I was just I don't think, regardless of any other role, I don't think I will like him in a role more than Royal. Like he's amazing in that movie.
Yeah. I think for me, it'll always be Crimson Tide, just because I've watched that so many times. I just love the way everything plays out, and just again him versus Denzel, and
he's
you
just
know, holding.
pretty much a big old asshole though. So that's why I don't like the character.
Yeah,
as
but I
much.
think-
but the movie's really good.
But that's again when we were
He
talking
plays
about
it well.
this. Well, yeah, if you play a character and you like viscerally dislike the character,
Yeah.
like
They
you
did a
know
good
they did a
job.
good job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. You're right.
all timer, Joaquin Phoenix, Gladiator. you absolutely despise him.
You do. That's not a good look for him.
Martin just gave the
Thumbs down.
a thumbs down. He's honestly, but you said Enemy of the State too. That was one where it felt like
Is that
say-
a Tony Scott too? No, who
Put
directed
back-
that one?
That's a Tony
It
Scott.
is.
back
so
in
he
our
did Crimson
lives.
Tide and Enemy.
yeah, which might have been why he got him in it. But yeah, him and Will Smith. That was kind of on the Will Smith come up train. he's great in that too. He's like he plays that role perfectly.
Perfect, like paranoid ex-CIA or whatever type guy that just doesn't want to be seen and knows to keep his head down because they're watching above.
You made a phone call.
Enemy of the State, it's Tony Scott. True Romance, Tony Scott. And Crimson Tide, Tony Scott.
Yeah, but he's not in True Romance.
I was going to say,
Hackman's
what is that? What are those 3 movies?
Well, so
one of these things doesn't belong.
the scene in True Romance where they're in the hotel, the shootout, is very reminiscent of the shootout that they have at the end of Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
It's almost like the same concept.
Well,
almost as if
same director.
It's the same guy was giving it.
There's so many things you can do in a shootout. You kind of mentioned it, Martin. He was good in Hoosiers too. Like he played that role. I mean, I'll say especially watching it now, it's like I couldn't even guess an age of what he was supposed to be coming back into that time frame and like where it was relative to Barbara Hershey. It was just like none of it. I couldn't.
He was always kind of ageless too, right? He looked 50, right? I think he was at some point. He wasn't 50. He's definitely older than 50. But
no matter where I was, he looked 50. He was my perception.
From my vantage point,
50.
he was 50.
Yeah, of a 50-year-old man. There was no doubt. When I was a young tot, I saw Hoosiers. I was like, that guy looks like he's about 50. Then he's got gray hair at Enemy of the State. 50. That's what that looks like.
Royal.
I don't know.
Might have been a little bit older, 65.
Yeah, but still.
59.
Not like much older.
No,
like,
he was a grandpa.
He looks good.
That's really funny.
Well-aged grandpa.
But he is. You're not wrong. I think that's a great way to describe it.
My question is now, why hasn't there been a March Madness film?
That's a really good question.
You're asking for a lot of basketball to be played on screen.
I mean, there was a lot of basketball in this, and it wasn't very good basketball.
For 1951, it was.
No, I just mean the shot. But like the actual filming of it, I don't think was that.
And I don't think you needed to even have a ton of it.
Yeah.
You could just have like.
He wants the drama.
You just want the underdog story. Like they just made the tournament, they're trying to get through. You should have like third quarter, fourth quarter, whatever.
Hoosiers. I think.
But he's saying.
I want it on the grand scheme. I want the big bright lights, big city. Everything comes down to the last game.
He wants one shining moment.
What would have been awesome is that the Butler Duke one when Hayward almost hit the shot.
What do you want a movie? You watched it in real life. You got to see.
But I mean, they do this all the time,
right? Like,
I mean, they recreated.
Do they?
They recreated.
They haven't yet?
To go to the music thing, like they basically recreated the entire Queen performance at Live Aid. For what reason? You could just watch the real concert.
So that Rami Malek could get an Oscar?
Right, exactly. Well, what was the point of that? Like, just watch the real performance and Freddie Mercury's way better.
I didn't watch it.
I know, I'm saying, but to your point, sometimes you can add a little drama or you can edit it, you can make it a better, 10 minutes.
I would argue
it's
all been done. In that, you're going to create a story where an underdog makes it to the national championship game. I'm like, oh, it's like Butler. But we actually watched the drama unfold already in real time.
Yeah, but I didn't, so I would watch the movie of it instead of having to watch the whole season.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would. I love movies.
I
love
people
sports
would.
movies.
I think people would.
I'm with Jelani on this one. I think someone. Just
I don't
needs to do
think. I don't think there's a movie there.
What you're saying is there's a reason it hasn't been done. I feel like
maybe there's just. I don't know what your movie's going to be. You already said you don't want there to be much basketball.
I don't think.
No,
you said
I'm
that.
not saying. I'm not saying a ton of. You don't need a ton of basketball.
Okay, so what's your movie?
You're going to have scenes of basketball.
So I'm asking you what the movie is. If there's not, let's just say there's not a ton of basketball. What are you filling your time with? What's your storyline?
I mean, just
the drama
like
is the basketball.
Yeah, but you could have your star player goes out right before the tournament happens. You have
that didn't happen.
Well, it might for some teams.
Well, okay. Are we not talking about Butler or
no? I'm not. I'm not taking the. I'm taking.
Oh, you're taking.
The Butler
you're saying you want it to be fictional.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's saying
make it fictional,
and I'm saying that whatever you do,
it's not going to live up.
Yeah, the real stuff is so much better. This is why the NFL is like. This is why stuff is amazing. The drama in real sports is better than most movies.
He's just saying make a sports movie surrounded around March Madness.
March Madness. I've just asked a daring question of what it's going to be about.
The ragtag
weird.
team that's
What's
trying to
in
make
the
a run.
movies?
I don't know.
We'll figure
every
it out.
every other sports movie is the same. Like it's just
So what do you need March Madness for?
It's just another setting.
yeah, it's just a different setting. Like you've done it with hockey, you've done it with
Golf.
you've done it with,
You've done it with
NFL,
basketball or
NHL,
baseball.
MLB,
Yeah.
high school basketball, college college football, college basketball. So he's just saying why not more college basketball?
The Valvano team, the North Carolina State team. Like, make a fictional representation of that. That was a Cinderella story.
Okay.
So why hasn't that somebody done that
It's
yet?
not going to be better than it really happening. Is my answer to your question.
I don't think it needs to be better.
Okay.
Just like Martin said.
Yeah, I'm saying
we
give me-
have
give me the
no
drama.
drama
Give me the off the court
throughout.
drama.
That's what I'm saying. What is your movie about? If
Well,
it's
that
not,
that will let the screenwriters figure out.
I'm just.
He's just
This
saying
is a pitch meeting.
Yeah.
We're just throwing out ideas.
Backdrop is March Madness. I'm with you. I think it should. I think it will happen, basically, because
yeah, I mean that's a new concept. A new arena. So
Somebody's not getting a writer's credit.
comfortable.
can we get it? Oh, we can't get Hackman.
No,
Josh Lucas is around. We can grab him.
Yeah, you're
Which
really,
one is he in?
Glory Road.
Yeah, you're
Glory
really
Road, yeah.
retreading. The Hackman news definitely was shocking, albeit that he was 95 years old. So I think it was. I'll tell you, Martin. He actually stopped looking 50 like 50 years ago. He looked 50 in his 30s and then in 40s and all that. But yeah, he looked real old. Obviously, real unfortunate news, but it was a surprise for one, like we've talked about, one of the better actors. So, R.I.P. We'll have to do something else. Crimson Tide, maybe Mexican. I don't know, something.
Heist. We're always good for a heist.
I just watched Heist, and it's not that strong. It got the best title for the heist movies, but it didn't quite live up, in my opinion. Well, you know what? I'm not against. Always out for a heist.
It's got Rockwell in it too, so gotta like that.
Yeah.
Gotta always have a negative on that side. So
But thanks Hackman for all the great movies,
Yeah.
man. The great roles.
I should watch Royal again.
as always, remember, God wants you to subscribe to the podcast. Thanks, and go to bed.